The U.S. Navy is behind in amphibious assault technology while America's military forces have always boasted of their modern war machinery. Sweden's CB-90 assault boat generates a buzz exceptional in its agility and speed. The Swedish CB-90 assault boat has attracted rapid attention from the world's most powerful military forces. Recently, the U.S. Marines took it for a spin in Mexico's borders to test its capabilities. But what makes this machinery so powerful, and can it outrun similar vessels used by the U.S. and other countries? Join us as we dive into the power and the potential of the CB-90, a boat that may shape the future face of military operations. In the world of military technology, where everything is in a state of flux, innovation and speed have become the decisive factors that determine success in combat missions. The most significant breakthroughs in amphibious war technology are in the CB-90 assault boat, specially developed by CB Marine of Sweden. This boat has been a worldwide interest due to its unparalleled agility, speed, and versatility in operations. However, as military forces worldwide develop newer ways to show their strength on land, sea, and air, the CB-90 shows the future of amphibious assault and might soon become a key asset for countries wanting an edge in warfare. For decades, the U.S. military has been in charge of amphibious assault technology with vessels like the powerful, well-equipped landing ship tank and the landing craft air cushion. But the CB-90 represents something different, a balance of speed, stealth, and maneuverability without compromising capacity or firepower. The advanced engineering in the boat has made it notable for all military forces in the world, challenging the traditional view of what was considered an amphibious assault vessel. Developed by the Swedish firm CB Marine, the CB-90 is designed to conduct a range of tasks, from speedy amphibious landings to quick strikes in ferrying troops. Most astonishing is its velocity, capable of reaching 45 knots. The CB-90 significantly outpaces most of the U.S. Navy's current crop of amphibious assault vessels, from the venerable landing craft air cushion to the decidedly more conventional landing ship tank. The design of the CB-90 is for maximum maneuverability and efficiency on all terrains. This is not only a fast vessel, but also a very versatile one. The CB-90 is capable of carrying a team of 12 fully equipped soldiers, different types of cargo, and weapons, becoming an ideal vessel for special missions of special forces or quick troop movements. With its shallow draft and possibility of very high speed, it is especially effective in shallow water, such as coastal areas and rivers, where larger vessels cannot operate. Unlike the traditional amphibious assault craft that require big and clumsy designs and normally have slow speeds, the CB-90 features a light and sleek structure. The hull is made of advanced composite material, which is both high strength and low radar cross-section. These low visibility and stealth capabilities ensure that the CB-90 has the upper hand in surprise attacks because it can infiltrate enemy-controlled waters without detection. The CB-90 has already been tested by the Swedish military, and its performance has been termed fantastic by reviewers. More recently, the U.S. Marines were able to try out the vessel during training and waterway operations along the Mexican border. The result was a boat that met and outperformed expectations by proving it could run seamlessly alongside the U.S. military vessel. The CB-90 is a result of decades-long technological evolution regarding amphibious assault craft. In World War II, one of the most famous Higgins boats made critical contributions to the amphibious landings and battles of Normandy and Iwo Jima. While these craft were essential to carry the men from ship to shore, they were very slow and offered hardly anything regarding protection or maneuverability. While revolutionary for the landings at the time, the shortcomings with speed and flexibility inherent in the craft would quickly appear in a modern combat situation. With the development of the Cold War, military forces around the world continued to look at ways to develop amphibious capability. The United States Navy brought into service the landing ship tank and the landing craft air cushion, designed to move heavy equipment and troops ashore with far greater ease. This craft had the advantage of being able to go right onto the beaches without having to use ports, yet they remain large, obvious targets despite their merits. Today, in modern military operations, giant amphibious transport docks like the USS Wasp and the USS America form the backbone of amphibious assault tactics. The behemoth warships can carry thousands of troops, helicopters, and landing crafts to enable massive invasions. However, they still depend on slow-moving landing crafts to deploy forces and hence limit the adoption of rapid response operations in high-threat environments. The CB-90 is thus designed to reflect a radical shift in amphibious warfare, putting increased emphasis on speed, stealth, and adaptability rather than reliance on brute force. While predecessors were designed for size and large payload capacity, the design of the CB-90 focused on rapid deployment, maneuverability, and operations in confined or shallow waters, making it extremely effective in the context of modern military engagements where agility and surprise are usually more important than firepower. One of the important CB-90 advantages is a considered support to elite special forces operations. The vessel lets military units in action carry out high-risk missions with greater precision. This makes the CB-90 especially well-suited to elite units such as the U.S. Navy SEALs, British Special Boat Service, and Swedish Special Operations Group. These forces depend on high-speed, low-profile vessels for reconnaissance, direct action raids, and intelligence-gathering missions. The CB-90's high maneuverability allows teams to gather critical information and retreat swiftly before enemy forces can respond. Additionally, its shallow draft enables operations closer to enemy shorelines than traditional landing craft, opening up new tactical possibilities in littoral warfare. The CB-90 is a game-changer in the field of amphibious warfare. It outperforms older variants and provides an overwhelming advantage where speed, stealth, and flexibility are paramount. With continued innovation by countries like Sweden, the U.S. Navy will be forced to reconsider its current crop of amphibious vessels and whether they can hold a cam to the emerging threats over the horizon. Recently, the CB-90 has been a top discussion because there will be considerable one-upmanship over the face of amphibious warfare in the future. The U.S. is continuing to invest in larger, more traditional vessels for large-scale operations, but the smaller, faster craft such as the CB-90 might be the face of rapid response amphibious assaults in the years to come. This may indeed change how military operations are conducted in littoral and nearshore environments. The most impressive feature of the CB-90 assault boat is its design. Swedish engineers created a vessel that would feature not only unprecedented speeds and agility, but also the ability to adapt to a wide range of operations. Whereas most amphibious assault craft were large, lumbering vessels, the CB-90 was designed to be sleek and aerodynamic, reducing drag and increasing speed. Its advanced composite hull provides a significant margin of buoyancy over comparable models and greatly lightens the hull while making the boat even stronger. It features improved resistance against corrosion when compared to a normal metal hull, a characteristic that finally allows CB-90 operations in salt water without showing signs of serious wear and tear over an extended period of time. The streamlined design of the boat is essential to its high speeds. Capable of speeds up to 45 knots, the CB-90 can transport troops and equipment to shore in a fraction of the time that traditional amphibious vessels would take. This increased speed is especially important in high-stakes combat situations where rapid response and quick deployment may be the difference between success and failure. However, most conventional amphibious vessels are little less than 30 knots in speed and hence are not able to shoot fast at targets and change battle conditions. Besides its speed, the hull of the CB-90 was designed to keep the vessel stable and maneuverable through choppy water. Its deep V-shape lets it glide right over the top of waves without jarring any soldiers or equipment around inside. In rough seas, this alone makes the CB-90 perfect for working in coastal areas or places where natural ground and weather conditions are not of the best quality. Nevertheless, there are several restrictions to their operability in shallow waters or high current conditions, which greatly restrain the traditional amphibious assault vessel flexibility during operations. Another great feature of the CB-90 is its shallow draft. The vessel's hull sits low in the water, which in turn enables it to operate in really shallow waters other amphibious assault boats cannot penetrate. This can easily make it a perfect gadget for special forces or reconnaissance in most cases that requires stealth with accessibility to unattainable areas. Its shallow draft contributes to decreasing the visibility of the boat from enemy radar and is an important factor in undercover missions. In terms of armament, CB-90 is configured to carry a wide array of weapons, from machine guns to anti-armor and anti-aircraft installations. The modular character of the boat guarantees quick reconfiguration, hence it will be able to perform missions according to individual requirements. Whether it be the transport of troops or fire support in a coastal engagement, the CB-90 can be fitted with weapons suitable for either purpose. But probably the most revolutionary thing that can be said about the CB-90 is the way it can work in concert with other vehicles and platforms. It is networked to be able to join a larger military network, share data in real time, and coordinate operations with other craft and aircraft. It is very clear that a CB-90 is very useful in joint operations where there is a need for effective communication among the air, sea, and ground forces. The communication systems on board the boat can transmit important information directly to the commanders, which augments the effectiveness of the military strategy. Amphibious assault vessels such as the U.S. Navy's landing craft air cushion and landing ship tank have long carried the torch. These vessels transport troops, motor vehicles, and heavy equipment onto hostile shores, and they do so in rough seas. In past conflicts, they proved very useful for the U.S. military. However, they had their deficiencies. The CB-90 offers a few advantages that may make it much more effective than the aforementioned assets in modern-day amphibious operations. One of the key differences between CB-90 and traditional U.S. vessels is its speed. In contrast, some of the other U.S. military's fastest amphibious crafts, such as a landing craft air cushion, have topped out at an estimated 40 knots, only a handful of knots off the CB-90 speed, whereas many of the common landing ship tank varieties are only at approximately 12 knot speeds. The CB-90 is far and away faster. This would be very critical in high-intensity combat environments where rapid deployment is required. The CB-90 performs exceedingly well in its movement in the most complex of environments. The landing craft air cushion as well as the landing ship tank can touch the shores, yet their figures in mass restrict them from higher mobility within narrow or shallow water channels. The CB-90's shallow draft and lightweight design give it a distinct advantage in this regard, making it ideal for operations in coastal regions, river systems, or other areas where larger vessels might struggle to operate. It is this flexibility that creates so many more options and tactics, especially to reach remote areas or exploit enemy vulnerabilities that were not accessible before. The other aspect which helps in overcoming traditional U.S. amphibious vessels is the stealth feature of the CB-90. The boat's low signature heat radar, combined with reduced thermal value, makes it much more difficult for hostile forces to track them. This is incredibly useful in situations where stealth is needed to achieve the element of surprise against enemy forces. Traditional amphibious assault vessels may be very good in most regards, but usually do not have much capability to go undetected in hostile waters, which diminishes their overall effectiveness in any sort of clandestine operations. Despite these advantages, there are areas in which the CB-90 does fall short compared to vessels in the United States. For example, the amphibious assault vessels of the U.S. Navy, especially the landing ship tank, are designed to carry heavier payloads and more troops than the CB-90. The landing ship tank has been a heavier vessel to bear tank and truck, transporting large numbers of soldiers to go ashore for very major assaults. Although it is quite flexible, the versatility of CB-90, which was high, is most adept for usage during small and speedy missions and was in no way fitting for either broad invasions or heavy lifting tasks. By contrast, amphibious vessels within the U.S. Navy are designed for an integrated fleet of vessels, each with capabilities dedicated toward communications, command, and control. The CB-90, even though an advanced vessel technologically, is not designed to be integrated into larger naval forces to that extent. That being said, this could certainly change as the military forces of the world continue to adopt new command and control systems, which would allow smaller, more agile vessels to be tied together into coordinated larger forces. More than a technological breakthrough, the CB-90 represents a conceptual change for military forces in thinking about amphibious warfare. Due to the versatility of the boat, it would be able to function perfectly well as a tool in a great number of military activities, ranging from special forces insertion to rapid troop transport and fire support for the ground fight. Regardless of the mission, the CB-90 is guaranteed to accomplish the task seamlessly. The vessel's capability to carry out operations in shallow waters blindly without detection gives it a massive edge above traditional amphibious vessels, which are prone to vulnerability. Modern war requires a quick mobilization of forces, particularly in theaters where enemy forces are unpredictable or landscape hard to overcome. With CB-90, military commanders can now act faster to the emergence of threat, thus always keeping one step ahead. Besides, advanced communication systems and the sharing of real-time data further integrate coordinated operations between various Army divisions. The CB-90 is designed for seamless integration into air and ground forces, proving to be extremely effective in operations involving a united front. Since the U.S. and its allies have future plans for revamping their Navy fleet, The CB-90 may integrate into the CB-90's amphibious attack plans and offer military forces much-needed advantages through technological supremacy against any adversary that may stand. Because the CB-90 has been constantly updated to meet modern-day conditions of combat, this could mean that it is very well positioned to be one of the keys in most future amphibious assaults, be that for special operations, rapid response, or large-scale engagements. The capability of the boat can just be unmatched. Other militaries throughout the world have noted the impressive abilities of the CB-90. While some countries have already started making use of the vessel in their own naval operations, other countries have decided to conduct an analysis of the structure and ponder on the idea of advancing their own amphibious attack capabilities. Among the Nordic and NATO allies, the two nations Norway and Finland have already adapted different variants of CB-90 for military purposes. They use boats to patrol their borders, facilitate the rapid movement of troops, and perform special naval operations. Because of the shallow waters and difficult coasts outside of military operations, CB-90 contributes to security problems related to maritime security, search and rescue, and enforcement along coastlines. In doing so, both China and Russia have also sought geopolitical recognition of the strategic value of high-speed amphibious crafts and then looked for counterparts. However, China is investing in developing speedier and stealthier amphibian boats as counterweights to a NATO-dominated navy, seeking strengthened power projection capacity in the challenged waters around its shores, mainly the South China Sea. In the same fashion, Russia has raised the amount of funding allocated to high-performance lightweight vessels intended for coastal warfare with the pace and agility that most modern naval battles require. Investment by Russia is on the rise. Most of these attempts seem to reflect that CB-90 has set a new benchmark in amphibious assault technology, influencing the military strategies of multiple nations. The CB-90 has just demonstrated its relative advantages in speed, stealth, and versatility. This may be the legacy of the CB-90. Still, it has become the norm for the majority of the world's modern naval forces and redefines the way future amphibious missions are envisaged. But the arrival of CB-90 also presents a rude awakening when the only thing that would matter in the race on the battlefield in military technologies is innovation. And with countries like Sweden continuing their charge with advanced military technologies, the CB-90 is clearly en route to the top in amphibious combat for decades to come. As military technologies progress, the CB-90 will include more AI and automation aspects in the future to further operability. One modification that might be done with this vessel is autonomous navigation. If an AI pilots it, there will be no need to retain a crew on board the CB-90, which could become quite important in missions where human presence may be compromised. With enhanced autonomous navigation, humans will be required less often to take control, enabling faster decision-making in complicated environments. The CB-90 Swedish assault boat is a revolutionary leap in technology and amphibious warfare. Its innovative design, unparalleled speed, and versatility of operation make the CB-90 different from traditional U.S. military watercraft and add a new dimension to how future amphibious operations can be undertaken. Traditional assault vessels have succeeded in most environments. However, the CB-90 adds new dimensions of speed, agility, and stealth. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.